Before tanks rolled, before gunpowder roared, before drones painted the sky with fire, there was fear. And sometimes, fear didn't come on 2 legs, but 4. Across the blood-soaked earth of Rome's battlefields, through smoke and screams, a dark figure sprinted, fast, disciplined, silent. It wasn't a man. It wasn't a horse. It was Carnus Pugnox, the Roman war dog. Muscle forged by war, loyalty tested by blood. Forgotten by history books, but remembered by the men who fought beside it. In an empire that stretched from the sands of Africa to the misty forests of Britain, strength alone was not enough. Rome demanded obedience, order, and absolute control, even from its beasts. And so they bred a creature unlike any other, powerful as a lion, loyal as a soldier. The Carnus Pugnox was not a pet. It was a living weapon, designed for battle, spectacle, and survival. When men faltered, this creature did not. When armies broke, it stood its ground. Bound by command, driven by instinct, it became the heartbeat of Rome's legions. To understand how this 4-legged warrior came to be, we travel back to the mountains of Epirus, in what is now northwestern Greece and Albania. There, among jagged cliffs and herds of goats, roamed the Molossus, the ancestor of the Carnus Pugnox, a colossal dog bred by shepherds and warriors to protect their homes and hunt predators. Philosophers like Aristotle wrote of their courage. Poets like Virgil admired their strength. The Molossus could wrestle lions, drive away wolves, and guard villages through bitter winter nights. When Roman generals saw them, they saw more than animals. They saw soldiers in fur. Rome imported these beasts, bred them with faster, more aggressive dogs from the barbarian tribes of the north, and crafted something new, a hybrid of speed, size, and savagery. Thus was born the Carnus Pugnox, Latin for the dog of battle. Standing 60 centimeters tall, weighing up to 50 kilograms, with jaws powerful enough to crush bone, and a bark that could pierce the chaos of war. A shadow of muscle and instinct, a gladiator in the shape of a dog. Before the battlefield came the arena. Before loyalty came blood. Echoes of cheering crowds, the clash of chains, roaring animals. The Romans, ever hungry for spectacle, unleashed their new creation before thousands in the Colosseum. Fasted for days to heighten aggression, the Carnus Pugnox entered the sands starving for meat, for movement, for victory. They faced condemned criminals, enemy prisoners, and exotic beasts, lions from Africa, bears from the Alps, wild boars from Gaul. And every time, they fought until the ground turned red. But the Romans noticed something deeper. These dogs did not fight out of chaos, but precision. They obeyed commands, even in madness. Their rage could be aimed, their loyalty weaponized. Rome realized the arena had merely been their testing ground. The true stage for the Carnus Pugnox was war. When Rome expanded, conquering Gaul, Britain, Dacia, it faced tribes who also unleashed war dogs. The Celts, the Scythians, the Britons, all sent snarling beasts against the legions. These dogs fought fiercely, but blindly. The Romans wanted more than ferocity. They wanted discipline. So they trained their Carnus Pugnox like legionnaires. Each learned to recognize friend from foe by scent, to attack only on command, to ignore pain, screams, and the chaos of war. They were drilled to hold the line, to march beside men in perfect formation. Every command, every bark, every movement had purpose. When the order came, ad vinum, they surged forward like arrows. They tore through enemy ranks, knocked riders from horses, broke ambushes before they began. They carried messages, guarded supply lines, and stood sentry through the night. In frozen Germanic forests, in the damp mists of Britannia, the Carnis pugnax was Rome's first alarm, and often its last defender. They slept in the camps, ate from the same rations, and when battle called, they charged shoulder to shoulder with the men they protected. To the soldiers, they were not beasts, they were brothers. Imagine a dawn in Germania. The fog hangs thick. The sound of leather and armor fills the air. Legionaries march in perfect rhythm, and beside them, silent shadows trot in step. Each Carnis pugnax wears a collar of iron or bronze, sometimes studded with blades to protect its neck. On its back, a small satchel carries food or messages. At night, they circled the camp's perimeter, ears twitching, eyes glowing in the firelight. If danger approached, they barked once, short, sharp, and every soldier knew. Many lives were saved by that single warning.
In the heart of Rome's greatest legions, these dogs became indispensable. Some historians whisper of statues carved in their honor, of soldiers who refused to fight unless their dogs were by their side. And sometimes, when a dog fell in battle, it was buried where it stood, wrapped in a legionary's cloak, marked with a single stone. To the faithful. In the Battle of Versailles in 101 BC, the invading Cimbride tribe unleashed their dogs upon the Romans. When their masters died, the dogs did not flee. They guarded the bodies, snarling, biting, fighting until they too were cut down. The Romans never forgot that sight, animals displaying more courage than men. From that day, the legions doubled their efforts to train their own war dogs. By the time of Julius Caesar, entire units traveled with detachments of Carnis pugnax. On campaign in Gaul and Brittany, they served as scouts, guards, and companions. Their instincts were sharper than any human sentinel. Their loyalty, unbreakable. Even the great columns of Marcus Aurelius show carved dogs marching beside soldiers, silent witnesses to the empire's might. They were not symbols of luxury or status. They were weapons. Breathing, thinking, faithful weapons. To fight beside a Carnis pugnax was to trust your life to something beyond language, a bond of eyes and instinct. When battle raged and formations broke, men would sometimes crawl through the carnage to find their dogs, bleeding but alive, still guarding the fallen. Many soldiers fed their dogs from their own rations, tended their wounds, and named them as comrades. Some retired legionaries returned home with their faithful companions, the only survivor of a lifetime of wars. But history, ever cruel, forgot them. No statues stand in their honor, no scrolls bear their names. But if you listen closely, in the ruins of ancient camps, you can still imagine the echoes of claws on stone, the ghosts of soldiers who never truly left their posts. As centuries passed, Rome's warfare evolved. Spears gave way to siege engines, tactics changed, and the age of animal combat began to vanish. The Carnis pugnax, once the terror of empires, began to vanish. Crossbred, diluted, or lost to time, its pure form disappeared. But its legacy survived in new breeds, the Neapolitan Mastiff, the Cane Corso, and others who still carry its blood in spirit. Today, when you see a Mastiff standing guard, calm, proud, unflinching, you are seeing the echo of a Roman soldier's companion, a fragment of the war dog that once stood at the gates of empire. Before drones, before missiles, before machines that kill without mercy, there was courage born from flesh and heart.
The Carnus Pugnox didn't understand conquest, glory, or politics. It understood one thing: loyalty. It fought not for empire, but for the man beside it. And when both fell, it died at his side. Maybe that's why the story still matters. Because in an age that forgets loyalty easily, this beast reminds us what devotion truly means. Before the machines of war, there was courage on 4 legs. Before history forgot, they walked proudly beside men who built an empire. The Carnus Pugnox, the war dog of Rome, may be gone, but its spirit still breathes in the guardians we call our own today. If this story moved you, honor this forgotten warrior. Leave a